All right, good morning, traders. Today's September 15th, 2025. Wow, this year is flying by. Okay. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Hey, thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. All right, appreciate all of the following, the subscribing, the kind comments. Special shout out to Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, everybody that shares the content. Thank you for spreading the good word. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, just want to say thanks. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with. I think I have an announcement this morning, and I do today. Open house today in the Right Way Options Trading Room. All right, Doug Campbell is your host. All right, he does a lot of options. He's very good with spreads, butterflies, condors, you name it. He can tell you all about the Greeks. All right, he can help you build those small accounts. So I just want to let you guys know it's open house in the Right Way Options Trading Room. Now, I'll leave a link in the description, but right here, this is right there. Scan that with your smartphone, and a pop-up will appear. If you click on the pop-up, a web page will open up for you to register to get in, and they will email you the credentials to get in. Check your spam folder. Sometimes those credentials wind up going into the spam folder. Hey, good morning, Rally. Okay, so just want to let everybody know today, right way options, open house Monday in the trading room right there. Okay, so all day. All right. He has a video that's probably already recorded, so probably want to get there before 9 so you can watch his video. All right, if you're out there in Cyberland and Digital Land. All right. So thanks for being here. My SPY pivot this morning, 657.80 above, and I'm a bull, below, and I'm a bear. SPY, SLV, T2123, and QQQ on Friday made new all-time highs. IWM made an inside day, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Diamond Dow made an inside day, closing above a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. FNGU made a lower high, lower low, closing over the bullish trap over the 17 EMA. You can see everybody's bullish. All right, SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute downtrend. My favorite trade, 10-minute uptrend inside a 2-hour uptrend that resides inside of a daily uptrend, that resides inside of a weekly uptrend, that resides inside of a monthly uptrend, all over the all-time high anchored VWAP. Doesn't get any better than that. For me, that's my favorite trade. Just want to share that right now in case you don't know. Gold made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. USO, remember silver made a new all-time high. USO made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bearish trap but under the 17 EMA. UNG made an inside day, lower high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. US dollar index still in a downtrend, closed near the 97.61 area. SPY Max Pain 657 with a put to call, that's for the options that expired today, with a put to call ratio of about 2.25 puts for each call that expires today at 4:15. The main event this week is the FOMC announcement at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Okay, you might want to be hedged before that. Could be a quarter point, could be a half point. We'll see how they see things, all right? So we'll take a peek at everything. Maybe things are looking good. They can do half a point. After all, we had the tariffs in last report for CPI. Didn't seem to pop things up too much. So it might be, maybe we get a half a point. We'll see what happens. All right. I want to share one thing. Okay, just want to share this now. Okay, so, and where is it? It's not here. We can find it though. Here it is. See if it's gonna pop up. Here we go. And that's it right there. Okay, so BYOB traders, all right? I want you guys to start thinking about the possibility of a climactic move to the upside and how you might want to possibly trade it. Not saying it's going to happen, all right? But I do know that the market moves in synchronicity. Whatever happens on one side often happens on the other side, okay? So you got this climactic move, exhaustion move to the downside. We may get a climactic move to the upside, taking us up to clear for 740. I can see a move up to 580 with ease. 740 is kind of stretching it, but you know the market. They like to push things a little bit further than necessary sometimes, but start thinking about how you might want to trade that possible climactic move. And I'm only saying this because T2101, the breath, is really disappearing fast. And I don't know whether they plan on popping that climactic move. Maybe, just saying, maybe on Wednesday after FOMC announcement. We'll see what happens. Maybe we get one, maybe we don't. All right. I just wanted to share that. In my experience, whatever happens on this side does often happen on this side. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, let me move this out of the way. We'll take a look at SPY. No, I don't want to move this out. Let's move this stuff down. I'm going to get my drawing tools out because I often have a problem with those. Right in the middle of my videos, so let's just restart them right now so we don't have to deal with that. And let's put it back up. And they're coming in. Let's put it in SPY right now. All right, SPY, let's pick up a clean chart right here. Okay, so here's our SPY on the daily chart. As you can see, new all-time high. Okay, doesn't get any better than that. All right, SPY, new all-time high up there. Closing over the bullish trap over the 17. We're bullish, all right? If you didn't know that, that's bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ, new all-time high for QQQ. That's bullish. Okay, new all-time high for QQQ. That's bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at FNGU. Okay, you can see FNGU, lower high, lower low, closing over the trap, over the 17. That's bullish. Consolidating up there at the top. Okay, so that's bullish and in an uptrend. IWM. IWM inside day, lower high, higher low. Closing inside the bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Okay, so this is the all-time high for IWM. I'm gonna speculate, all right here, right now. IWM's gonna put in a new all-time high before SPY rolls over. That's what I'm speculating right now. Okay, so I think IWM is the last one to make some new all-time highs. All right, and I think it's in their purview to take care of that. All right, before SPY rolls over and we start our descent. In other words, the highs for the year have been made. Okay, so I think IWM before SPY makes the high of the year, all right, is going to print an all-time high prior to SPY making the high of the year. Okay, so you've heard of high of the day, high of the month, high of the week. Well, I'm speculating on high of the year. Okay, for IWM, things are looking good for IWM. By the way, okay, so that's consolidating up here at the top or in the middle of quadrant 4. That's bullish, and that's in an uptrend. That's IWM. Let's go back to SPY. All right, and let's pick up the 2-hour chart. You can see our 2-hour chart. This is the 3 EMA right here. It's the yellow line. You can see price in the 3 EMA. Nice flat consolidation right through there. Over, looking like the past 5 candle bars right there. So consolidation over to the right. As you can see, price action 2-hour uptrend is intact. All right, so we like that 2-hour uptrend when it resides in that daily uptrend. So all we need is a 10-minute uptrend. When we left off Friday, okay, when we left off Friday, we had a 10-minute downtrend right there, okay, right into a support line. That would be a diagonal support line, okay, almost an exhaustion-like move right there. You can see where the candle starts out small, grows, and then you got the biggest candle at the end of the move into the support with no follow through, kind of cluing you in this is an exhaustion type move, and probably most likely price is going to be back up here to test those highs, and if not make a higher high. Okay, so there's SPY on the 10-minute. 10-minute is juiced up with this exhaustion move, so looking for bullish green candles opening up this morning. Let's pull up the pre-market, all right, right here. Plan to trade SPY, okay? So I'm going to mark off the top. I'm going to mark off the bottom, all right? So here's the top, there's the bottom. I'm also going to mark off the first 15 minutes. I don't know where it's going to be. That's just going in there aimlessly, all right? I don't even know where the first 15 minutes is going to lie. Right now, you've got a 10-minute. Go to the 10-minute chart. Right now, we currently have a 10-minute in the pre-market uptrend over VWAP, testing the prior high from Friday right there, okay? That's bullish, all right? If they get up here and hold the higher ground, it's kind of a crappy way to start off on a Monday because they're already started to go up there, and you can see they've already attacking the all-time high right up there. But anyways, price action is up here. Just be careful, all right, this morning. That's a wick. Wicks show me where the bears are or where sellers are. So like to see them get up here and hold this area. That would be more important than passing through it, okay? But got to say that that's a wick, and selling occurred there before, and it very well may occur here the second time. So we'll see what happens. If they pull back, I would expect them to pull back to VWAP. If VWAP does not hold, chances are we're coming down to this uptrend line here. If not that one, then we're probably going to hit this one right here. All right, so I'll extend that one right now so you can see where that lies out. I'm going to thicken it up a little bit too, extend to the right. All right, so you can kind of get an idea where that uptrend line lies in case they have a pullback. Again, sellers were up here before. They may come back and test this line. We'll see what happens. Okay, so there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Just be careful this morning, okay? Don't want to chase, all right? But we're up here where sellers were before. Notice we didn't hit any minor support and bounce. We actually hit the major support of this consolidation and bounce. So that's, we'll see what happens, all right? It's going to be spooky this morning because I don't like it when we get up there early like this. I'd rather them spend time down here in the middle and then find their footing and then move up. So will probably be a little bit of profit taking up there. There is a put squeeze on the table. We got 2 1/4 puts for each call. It very well may just rip this morning in order to squeeze the puts and push, tell the puts to cover, and force the puts to cover. So that's a possibility also. Again, we're going to mark off the first 15 minutes and trade the breakout of that first 15-minute box. All right, so that's SPY. Let's take a look at the game plan. All right, for the game plan, let me pull this down just a second here. Okay, let's pull. See, I didn't want to do that. This goes back up there. Okay, there's another way to do this. There we go. Okay. All right. So, okay, we have, there it goes right now. All right, we got green erases red over 659. All right, and we've got a pivot of 657.80. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All right, we've got red erases green below 656.85. Okay, so below all of the major support of this consolidation for 2 days right here, holding the higher ground. Okay, that's my bearish entry. Red erases green. Be careful. We could run into this uptrend line and J-hook off of it. All right, so keep an eye on this uptrend line and where the location is when we do pass through 656.85. In case we do pass through 656.85. Okay, again, the pivot 657.80. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Okay, so this is the SPY game plan. I like 4 days and 11 days till expiration Friday options. I like them on the multiple of 5. I like the Friday options. They got more open interest. I like the multiple of 5. They've got more open interest. I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I'm not saying that you have to trade those strikes, okay? If you want more performance, in the money options will give you more performance, but keep in mind you are taking on more risk and they are more expensive when it comes to buying power. Okay, so keep in mind when you trade the in the money options, short dated. All right, you're going to get a much better performance. All right, but they're going to cost you more. All right, and you're going to put more out for risk. All right, so just be careful with that. All right, so that's why I like $2 to $15 out of the money, and that's why I like outdated options. In other words, a little bit longer. All right, like 4 days or 11 days, preferably 11 days, gives you much more time to make those corrections. All right, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. My favorite trade, 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. That's inside the 2-hour uptrend, that's inside the daily, that's inside the weekly, that's inside the monthly. We have all of that right now. Okay, we won't always have that. Six to 9 months from now, I suspect one of these is going to be in a downtrend, if not 2 or 3. Okay, so they're probably all not going to line up right now. I like it because I've got all of those bigger time frames supporting my little 10-minute uptrend. All right, so that's why I like it right now. The 10-minute uptrend over VWAP when it's inside all of those bigger time frames that are also inside of an uptrend. Okay, I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Okay, I like it when they break the rubber band candle. If a 10-minute downtrend were to manifest up here, I'm not opposed to trading it, okay, long before it gets to the red erases green entry, all right? But I just like it to break the bearish rubber band candle based on the 8 EMA, the 17 EMA, or VWAP, okay? That's my preferred, entry, all right, to see that rubber band candle break, all right? So your point of interest could be the 8 EMA, your point of interest could be the 17 EMA, and your point of interest could be the rubber band candle. Okay, again, and I'm not opposed to trading. 10-minute uptrend down here long before price breaches 659 up here. So if we were to have a 10-minute uptrend manifest down here, I'm not opposed to trading it from down here. Okay. But I would like to see it break the bullish rubber band candle, all right, based on the point of interest being like maybe the 8 EMA, the 17 EMA. VWAP makes the best point of interest, okay, or VWAP right there. Okay, so there's SPY. We have a QQQ game plan as well, all right, and we'll pull that up. Here's our QQQ game plan. Pivot for QQQ, 650, 615. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Green erases red entry over 584.80. Okay, look at this. We're already up to 585 already. Oh my gosh, we're up to 587. Let me change that. That's 587.80. Okay, that's supposed to be 587.80. Have to fix that. Okay, pivot 586.15. Green erases red over 587.80. Red erases green underneath 583.90. Okay, same thing. 4 days till expiration. Friday options, 11 days till expiration. Friday options, both of them on the multiple of 5. We like the Fridays, more open interest. We like the multiple of 5 because that's more open interest. So when I say multiple of 5, I'm talking about 590, 595, 600, okay, 580. That's what I mean the multiple of 5, okay, with strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. So if we're going to buy calls out of the money, all right, let's say calls are at, let's just say, for instance, they're at 589. Okay, out of the money calls are going to be like your 592s, your 595s, your 600s, okay? That would be out of the money. For puts, all right, if price was 588, for puts, it'd be 585 would be out of the money, 580 would be out of the money, because remember, your puts start up here and come this way, whereas your calls start here and go that way, okay? So QQQ game plan, we got that. All right, so again, same thing on the QQQ. Mark off the bottom, top and the bottom of the pre-market, and trade the first 15-minute breakout. Look for that the first 15-minute breakout to go up and test either the bottom or the low. We'll see what happens. Or VWAP, one or the other, okay? Or gap fill. Gap fill is a popular target. Okay, so there's QQQ game plan. Let's take a look at our technicals. As you can see, this is our T2101. This is the absolute breadth of the market. We are down here in these lows. I am looking for the breadth to actually step into this area right here. This has been a reversal area when the breadth stops in there in the past. And if I pull up a 2-hour chart, you can see right here where it steps in there. Stay right here where it steps in there. Okay, this is a big move. I would expect it to step in here and look for a reversal at that time. That's why I'm talking about the climactic move, because it's coming soon. I can see price or the T2101 possibly stepping into this box down here, and probably going to be done with very low participation. It's going to be a lot easier for them to move the market up 40 points or 50 points and make that climactic move. T2122 yesterday, okay, so this is price action. You can see, well, actually data came out of the this is the overbought zone straight into the buyer's chop zone, producing what looks to be like a possible inverted head and shoulders right there on T2122 after coming out of the overbought zone. Nice thing is we stayed up here on the upper half. Okay, notice we're up above 0. We're up above the 50-yard line. We've stayed above the 50-yard line for the most part ever since the 11th of August. Right here, maybe the 12th of August. Spending a lot of time over the 50-yard line. That's bullish up there, okay? T2123, new all-time high made on Friday, right there. Price action came back. They did fill the gap, but look at them hold the higher ground, okay? If you ever want to know what's bullish, look for it to hold the higher ground like this. When you see price action on your 15-minute chart, hold the higher ground like this, whether it's T2123, it could be Apple, it could be, I don't know, it could be anybody. It could be Ford, it could be General Motors, it could be anybody. When you see that 15-minute chart, hold that higher ground like that. That's a show of strength. That's like planking for 6.5 hours straight, or holding a chin up for 6.5 hours straight. I mean, that's impressive, okay? All right, so that's a show of strength when they do that. All right, so that shows me strength. So coming into the morning, I'm looking for more bullishness to the upside. Either that or a move over to the right, okay? That's incredible strength to stay up here at the all-time highs and do the plank all the way up there, okay? That's like king of the mountain right there, okay? So that's T2123. That's the 15-minute chart. You can see we're up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish, okay? You're making new all-time highs. Just drop the mic. It doesn't get any better than that. Okay, T2123 3-bar chart. I gotta spread this out further because they just keep going. All right, 3-bar chart, still in an uptrend. Haven't been broke. Nothing's broken yet. Okay, look at all the green dots. If you were just to buy and sell on green dots and red dots, look at the money to be made just on the 3-bar chart right here. Look at this. You buy here, and you don't have to sell till here. And you sell, but then you get back in, and it takes you all the way up to here. This is one incredible chart right here. I mean, look, the green dots kind of just tell you when to turn it on, when to turn it off. Risk on, risk off, risk on, risk off, risk on, and they haven't told us to turn it off yet. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it doesn't get any cleaner than that. That's just one beautiful way of looking at price action and determining whether you want to put risk on or take risk off. Right there, just by looking at the green dots. Beautiful thing. T2123, 3-bar chart. Yep, up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish. You can see here's the 3 bars and holding the higher ground. Okay, I foresee a big space opening up like this between the 17 and the price bars up here. Okay, it's kind of consolidating here. I think we got a big breakout coming soon, and it may be on Wednesday in the afternoon, probably Thursday and Friday with follow through. There's T2123 3-bar chart. Hey, that's bullish and in an uptrend. Nothing's broken there. FNGU, price action. Look at them hold the higher ground up here. Okay, again, incredible strength. Up near these highs, that's the all-time high. Okay, they're just right underneath it. I mean, they're leaning on the all-time high. And look at this in the pre-market. Nice rip. Breaking out over the base. Right there. SPY QQQ probably going to be bullish this morning. Probably going to be a gap and go based on what I'm looking at here in the FNGU. We follow the FNGU. It's got 10 of the most heavily weighted securities inside the QQQ and the SPY. Now, we're big traders of the QQQ and SPY because they're reliable, a lot of open interest. So we tend not to trade everything else that moves around. So we like watching the FNGU because it's got 10 of the most heavily weighted in the QQQ and the SPY. And let me say, when those 10 move as a pack, okay, they can drag both indexes right along with them regardless of what the rest of the market is doing. Okay, just want to let you guys know about that. This is the one to watch, this one right here. Okay, price action, look at the bullish gap. The bears after one, 2, going on 3 days here, still have not filled the bullish gap. Okay, again, planking up here, incredible strength. Up over the 200 SMA, love it. That's bullish and still in an uptrend on FNGU. Okay, let's take a look at a few of our other things that we follow. Okay, let's take a look at silver. All right, silver, we'll look at it on the daily chart. Check it out over here. Okay, silver new all-time high. It's a 13-year high right there. Okay, drop the mic. It doesn't get much better than that unless you're taking out the all-time high. 13-year high, that's incredibly good. All right, bullish and in an uptrend. Look at the consolidation. This is what strength gives you. All right, when you get price action, okay, moves over to the right, you get a pop. Look at the strength. hold, pop. All right? You see what's going on? Pop, hold, pop. All right? This is what it is. It's like a string of stairs getting constructed right here. Little launch pad and then a launch. Little launch pad and then a launch. All right? That's silver on the daily. All right? 13-year high up there. Okay? That's for silver. Let's take a look at gold. Okay, gold up here in the nosebleeds. All right? All the way at the top of quadrant 4. I'm going to back way out so you can see how beautiful that is. Okay, this is an all-time high right here, made about 4 days ago. Price action for gold, consolidating up here near the all-time highs. Okay, that's bullish and in an uptrend right there. That's gold. UNG. Okay, UNG inside day on Friday. That's a higher. It's a higher low and a lower high, closing under a bearish trap. And I'm going to zoom way out so you can see where this is. Okay, this is quadrant 1. Anytime it's in the lower third of the quad lines, so anything like below here, okay, this is bearish in the lower third. Up here in the upper third, this is bullish up here. Okay, this is neutral. Okay, when they zigzag in between here. Okay, this is bearish because we're down here in the lower third. Okay, so that's bearish and in a downtrend. How do we know it's in a downtrend? Okay, let's take a peek. Okay, they have to make a higher high to get an uptrend. Okay, they still have not made the higher high. That's the all-time low. Look at all the lows they made since making a low. There's a lower low. There's a lower low. There's a lower low. Okay, so we're in a downtrend. This right here, that would be a pullback in the downtrend, also known as a bear flag, right there. So there's UNG on the daily chart, bearish and in a downtrend. USO. Okay, USO is one of those ones that just likes to go up and give it up. All right, so you can see price action here goes up, gives it up, goes up, gives it up, goes up, gives it up. So just neutral right there. And I don't even like these lower highs right here. Don't like that at all. Kind of spells like another lower high right there. That's what it spells out. Okay, neutral, all right? Again, it's not in the upper third up here. Okay, this would be bullish. Okay, this right here, this would be bearish. Okay, we're in the middle, all right? So we're just neutral. Just zigzagging before. See how they go up? They give it up. Okay, that's why when I show you the plank and price holds the higher ground, you can see how important it is, okay? See how this fails to hold the higher ground. Hence, you don't get price doesn't move over and then up. Instead, fails to hold, it comes down. Okay, so when you see something that has the ability to hold the higher ground up near the highs, that is a show of strength. Okay, so those are the ones you want to follow, okay? And again, as BYOB traders, let me just say this, okay? We're not very good at picking tops and bottoms. And actually, nobody is, all right? We trade the trends, all right? Our preferable trend is the 10-minute trend because we're intraday traders, all right? Picking tops and bottoms is a very, very difficult process. You will run out of money before you find absolute success trading tops and trying to find tops and bottoms, okay? It's much, much, much easier to see a river of money flowing and then just jump in. It's incredibly easier, all right? You see a 10-minute uptrend, jump in, all right? That's much easier than trying to guess this is the top, this is the bottom, okay? Seen a lot of people blow up accounts trying to find tops and bottoms. The trend is where it's at. The trend is where you have an edge. The trend will make your life easy, all right? If you want a hard life, have at it. Go after those tops and bottoms and see how accurate you are at picking them, okay? I'm just saying, okay? It's much, 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 much easier to find the 10-minute trend and fall in, all right? How do you fall in? You just scoot down to a smaller time frame. If it's an uptrend, I look for a red candle. And when I see green wipe out that little red candle, I jump in. Or a 2-minute chart, okay? In a 10-minute uptrend. Okay, I look for a little red candle. As soon as green wipes out the little red candle, I jump in right there. And that is much, much easier than trying to pick tops and bottoms. Okay, I'm just saying. That's what we do here in the BYOB Trading Room. Okay, so make your life easier. Do yourself a favor. Wait for the trend to get established, and then just jump in. All right, it's much, much easier. You're going to lose a whole. You should be losing less money by doing that. All right, because if the current stops flowing, you need to get out. All right, so let's go check out the data package. All right, the economic data. All right, let's start off with the dollar. Okay, the dollar. Okay, this was major support. Okay, right here. See all of these valleys that go like this? Okay, all of those valleys, they created all of this consolidation, okay, which happens to be major support. We came down and we crashed through major support, and now we're moving over to the right, okay? That would be a bear flag over here, okay? So now, this is not major support, okay? Okay, we're underneath it. We tested it, and it's acting like resistance now, okay? So this becomes minor resistance. Price is down and moving over to the right. Okay, so we're in a bear flag. Where did we close yesterday? Let's look at this a little more in depth, okay? Look what we got here. Okay, we've got like lower highs. Look at the series of lower highs right through here. Look at that series of lower highs, okay? Actually, we can undo that last one and redraw it based on this one right here. So let's take that. Okay, look at that series of just lower highs. And they keep coming down. And they keep moving over to the right here. Okay, see how they keep moving this way? Eventually, they're going to run out of room, and they're going to get pinched, and like a wet watermelon seed, they're going to come flying out, okay? The most likely move, 70% chance of this move, is probably to the downside based on the price action. And that's looking at the candles as a group, not just one candle, not just two candles. This is what the candles are telling me, okay? Price is winding up to make a move south, all right? Because the highs keep getting lower and lower and lower. And looking like, you see, nobody wants to buy it up here, all right? The people that bought it up here gave it up, all right? The people that bought it up here gave it up. Okay, you see what's going on? Okay, more than likely the move is to the downside. Big thing like that, moving to the downside like that, okay, could also catapult stock prices into new highs, okay? We like a weak dollar, all right? Not as a consumer. As a consumer, it sucks, all right? Because it makes everything that we buy more expensive. In other words, we got to spend more of our hard-earned money to buy the same things that we used to buy yesterday, okay? Now we have to spend more, all right? For the investor in us, this is a beautiful thing, because what happens is companies are now getting more money for their goods and services, which takes in more revenue on the top line. And most of the time, that revenue taken in on the top line transitions to more profits on the bottom line. More profits equals more earnings per share. More earnings per share usually, all right, most often transitions into a higher price for that security. All right, so the investor in us likes a weak dollar. The consumer in us hates the weak dollar. So we closed right here, right about 97.61 yesterday. Okay, that would be on a Sunday night. All right, right there. All right, so there's the dollar in a downtrend showing weakness. Okay, see this? We're down at 3-year highs. Okay, the last time we were down here was September of 2022. There you go. 3-year lows. Did I say highs? If I said highs, I meant lows. 3-year lows right here. Also, I just want to point out, you're looking at a head and shoulders program. Okay, that's the head, left shoulder, right shoulder. This is probably going to extend down to here. Test that low. If that low fails, they're coming down further. Okay, so let's take a look at max pain. Max pain for today, 657. That's the puts. That's the options that expire today in the SPY. Is max pain with a put to call ratio of 2.25 puts for each call that expires today. On earnings report, starting at the beginning of the week, familiar names, nothing market moving. Tuesday, familiar names, nothing market moving. Wednesday, familiar names, nothing market moving. Thursday, same thing. Friday, ditto. All right, nothing here on the earnings calendar to make the markets move. What we do have is FOMC at 2 p.m. on Wednesday with a press statement at about 2:30. Okay, for today, Empire State Manufacturing Index 8:30. For tomorrow, retail sales 8:30, import export prices 8:30, industrial production 9:15, business inventories 10 o'clock, housing market index 10 o'clock. Okay, the big day. This is the main event, Wednesday. Okay, starts off with MBA mortgage applications at 7 a.m. That's every Wednesday at 7 is an MBA mortgage applications at 7. Housing starts and permits 8:30. All right, petroleum report at 10:30. Okay, housing starts and permits at 8:30. Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations at 10. The petroleum report at 10:30. Treasury buyback. Okay, FOMC announcement. They're going to decide right then if they're going to give us a quarter basis point cut or a 50-cent basis point cut. I'm leaning more towards the quarter. That seems to be the more popular, but I gotta say things are looking good for the 50. All right, we'll see. And then the chairman of the FOMC at 2:30, he's going to speak. Thursday, jobless claims 8:30, Philly Fed manufacturing index 8:30, leading indicators 10, a natural gas report at 10:30, and that's it for the rest of the week. Quadruple witching on Friday. All right, so maybe they might wait for these quarterly options to expire. All right, and weekly, and then hit the highs on Monday. That's a possibility, the climactic highs after the quadruple witching. Or they may want to do it right during the quadruple witching, because that would make a lot of that stuff void. All right, if they rip it to brand new highs, we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be surprised if they do it on Friday. All right, that's it for me for this morning, okay? I'll be back in the room here in about 35 minutes, all right? And let me get this video wrapped up and out there for the public to consume. All right, thank you everybody for hanging out with me this morning. Let me see if I got any questions. Can't really see right now. I see a lot of stuff. John, your green erases red line. Yes, I got that, Jim. I think, yep. Good morning. Max levels. Sweet. VIX up. Reading. Alexandria, why does an investor like a weak dollar again? Alexandria, the weak dollar, because when the dollar is weak, all right, it allows for our companies in the USA, all right, to sell to foreign markets, okay? So if our dollar is weak, all right, it makes us more competitive in the global market space. In other words, what was too expensive yesterday, all right, is now going to cost less today, and then we become more competitive against other businesses that sell the same goods and services, all right, which then makes us more affordable for them to come after our business, all right, and buy our services or goods because they're now cheaper and more affordable. I hope that makes sense. All right, so it opens up, in other words, it opens up new markets. And when you open up new markets, most of the time you're going to take in more revenue. All right, if you add a new market, let's say you've never done business in, I don't know, let's just call it the Australia, all right, that whole area down there, Australia, New Zealand, New Guinea, all of that. Let's say we've never done business there, okay, but now our dollar is cheaper, all right, and now we go there to sell, I don't know, IBM business machines, could be anything, all right, could go there to sell, and now we become affordable for those nations in Australia and around it, that whole continent there. Okay, so now we have opened up a new market. All right, it's just like a long time ago, the Middle East didn't have air conditioning. Think of this, they're in the desert and they didn't have air conditioning. You think, okay, we were highly welcomed because we were showing them how to produce air conditioning. All right, it's like selling heaters to Eskimos, all right, and selling ice to, in the tropics, okay, they're in big demand. It's very easy for us to sell air conditioners over there, all right, so hence, all right, we opened up a new market for, air conditioning when we got over there. Not to mention, showed them how to drill oil, all right, and showed them how to make money. Okay, when we do stuff like that, could be a service, it could be goods. Here's a pump jack, here's Halliburton. Well, they'll show you how to drill for oil and put a pump jack on it. Right? You see what I'm saying? And that's what helps those goods and services sell. Yeah, cheaper dollar, okay? And then on top of that, when you got the cheaper dollar, you're also paying more, all right? So it's going to cost you more dollars to buy, I don't know, let's just call it Ritz crackers, okay? Used to be, I don't know, $3, now it's $3.50. Well, if you're still selling the same amount of Ritz crackers, all right, each month, all right, you're going to be taking in more revenue. More revenue transitions into more profits, all right, because you're going to make something off of every box that you sell. So you got more profits, okay, well, more revenue that should transition into more profits, meaning more earnings per share. When you get a higher earnings per share, Nabisco gets a better share price. In other words, and now the price of Nabisco stock now goes up because they're taking in more earnings. You see what I'm saying? You got it. I knew it. All right, that's it. See you guys in about 40 minutes. Let me get this video out here, okay? Thank you.